Right now, it is Congressman French Hill on with us this morning, the President's State of the Union address last night. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Kevin, good morning, my friend. Hope you are doing well this morning.
Doing great on a Wednesday. So, we take it as it comes. Every day is a good one, isn't it? At least you hope so. Your first opportunity to attend a State of the Union address, at least I assume so, as a 2nd District Congressman here. So have you ever been there before?
I have been a guest before years ago during the administration of George H.W. Bush, but this was obviously the first time to attend as an elected representative and sit on the floor and listen to the president's address.
You disagreed with a big part of what the president has to say, according to what your office has released here. Where are the points that you and the members of the Republican Party part ways with the president?
Well, we part ways when we try to make government bigger and raise taxes across the economy and generate more one-size-fits-all federal solutions from Washington. And that was a major theme, at least on the domestic policy of the president's speech, is he wants more taxes and more government to spend on more programs.
There were occasions where members of both sides of the aisle stood and applauded the president last night. Are there things where you can agree with what the president said in the State of the Union?
I believe so. I mean, I thought there were some areas, the president's praise of our men and women in uniform and thanking them for their service in the long years of war that we've had against global terrorism since 9/11. And the support of our veterans, that's certainly an area I think that there's bipartisan agreement on. I think many on the Republican side of the aisle are willing to hear out the president on his proposals for trade promotion authority to increase American exports and services sales to Europe and Asia. And I think there's probably interest in his proposals to some degree on making sure our country is safe from a cybersecurity point of view and listening to what his proposals are there.
2nd District Congressman French Hill on with us this morning with a Republican House and also a Republican Senate. Do you feel like the president is now more accommodating to some of the Republican ideas in his presidency at this point?
I'd have to report to you that after listening to the talk, I think my short answer to that is no. He offered up no willingness to come to the middle ground on reforming our immigration laws or reforming his Health Care Act or lowering and making simple the tax code. And those are things I think Republicans came to Washington to work on. And I think that's the overwhelming view of the American people when they elected 31 governors and 2/3 of the legislatures and sent larger majorities in the House and took a majority in the Senate last November.
One of the things that the president said in his speech is that Congress needs to pass a law to make sure a woman is paid the same as a man for doing the same work. Really, it's 2015. It's time. Your thoughts on that, sir?
My thoughts on that is that women who do the same work in the same conditions as men should be paid the same. And I think that's we already have fair labor standards and fair labor laws on the books, and I think that law exists. So I don't think another law needs to be passed.
French Hill on with us this morning. He is your 2nd District Congressman. The president also brought up again the idea of free community college. How is that being received?
I think it was. I think all of us agree that proper education. We want all of our citizens to stay in high school, get a high school degree, and that we want everyone who graduates to have a plan, whether it's go in the military, go into a trade, go on to college, go to community college. But in my judgment, things like education are an obligation of the principally of the states and local governments, and the president cited that last night when he suggested that Tennessee had a good program for its citizens on community college attendance based on certain criteria. And I believe that all states should experiment with what's appropriate in their budget for their citizens and enhance the college and community college experience for their citizens. I don't believe that's a core obligation of the federal government when we have an $18 trillion debt and we're trying to be very careful about what programs we start and how we spend our federal dollars of our hard-earned working families out there.
He also took on the minimum wage. He'd like to see that raised across the board.
Yes, and I've said many times that the most important thing for a family to get them out of poverty is to have that education we just talked about and a good job. And that is the most important thing we can focus on, is getting the economy growing and get more careers and opportunities for our citizens. We've got fewer people working in the 2nd District of Arkansas at the end of the year than we did 7 years ago. And I think what people want are jobs and opportunities.
Fred Schill is the 2nd District Congressman. Good to talk to you this morning. And I got to ask you, Sarah, what was it like there? I mean, it was your first speech in the State of the Union as a representative of the state of Arkansas. Where did you sit, and what was the atmosphere like?
I sat right in the middle of the Republican side of the aisle. I was right kind of eye level, looking at the president and the speaker and the vice president. Really enjoyed the experience. You know, the House of Representatives chamber is a more intimate chamber than it appears on television. It's much smaller, and you can really see the reactions and expressions and involvement, engagement of the audience across the whole chamber. It's a wonderful experience, and I enjoyed, of course, representing Arkansas, sitting there listening to the president's proposal.
2nd District Congressman Fred Schill, pleasure to speak to you this morning. Appreciate your time.
Kevin, it's always a treat. I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care, my friend.
Yes, sir. You also.